Good morning. And with just 4 days to the gubernatorial and the state assembly elections coming up this weekend, Saturday, the 11th of April, every state of the Federation where elections is taking place is preparing in earnest for a very successful poll. It has been said, a couple of information around, that there is a need for security to be beefed up more than ever before. The security challenge experienced during the presidential election has nothing to really be compared with what should be on ground for the gubernatorial elections, as is being said in a few corners. My name is Dapo Banjo. Welcome to Crossfire, and I have with me on the show Ishama Gaine. Ishama, how you doing today?
Very fine, thank you. Good morning. And good morning, Nigerians. Welcome to the show today.
You know, it feels so relaxing standing to do this show, you know, after, you know, a very long run, you know, just sitting down and running it. We have a couple of information to get across to us today on the show. And if I were you, I would just stay glued to my TV. This is channel 196 on Star Times. This is Cool TV. And welcome once again to Crossfire. We have a couple of trending stories that we'll be taking you through, and we will be bringing updates on some that we mentioned yesterday. Elections comes up on Saturday, just barely 4 days to the elections, and a lot of states, while calmness is being recorded, a lot of states are really, you know, getting really worked up by a lot of statements that have been made and that is making the polity heated towards the elections. Yesterday, we took you through a very, very interesting journey, and that was the statement that the Oba of Lagos made, Oba Riliwan Akiolu, inciting very inflammatory and very fallacious, you know, against the Indigos, that is the Igbo people living in Lagos. And we analyzed it yesterday that, I mean, it has become really very clear that when you are born in a particular state and you have lived there for about 10 years, you are as good as an indigene in that particular state. And it is also worthy of note to quickly say that whatever the Oba said on Sunday is not a true representation of the Yoruba race.
And
this
the
is
APC
not,
also.
And the APC. And don't forget that a lot of things have been said about the statement, and we'll just take you through a couple of reactions that have been recorded about this particular statement made by the Oba. APC finally react to Oba of Lagos anti-Igbo comments. The All Progressive Congress has distanced itself from the remark of the Oba of Lagos, Riliwan Akiolu, threatening Igbo living in the state to vote the APC gubernatorial candidate Akinwumi Ambode, or perish inside the lagoon. Several Nigerians and institutions have condemned the comments of the Lagos paramount ruler. The ruling People's Democratic Party, in its reaction, described the comments as a plunge to anarchy. Also, women rights lawyer Femi Falana has told the Oba to apologize to the Igbo people in Lagos without delay. Now, the president-elect was in Lagos yesterday, Shama, and his presence doused down the tension. And I watched and I listened to a couple of, you know, town hall meetings that were held, and I find out that the Igbo people are calming down. And that's because, you know, he came around and let them know, forget it, this is not a true representation of what APC stands for. It's not part of our ideology, and we will not even allow anybody to say that on behalf of the party. And I remembered very vividly, you know, when one of the Igbo chieftains in Lagos was analyzing this matter, and he said, for example, I've been involved with the APC as a party for a very long time, and I know that the Oba is not a card-carrying member of the party. So he does not even have a legitimate right to make such an inflammatory statement.
The truth is, yesterday, you know, after the close of work, I had to sit down because I was going through, you know, news, topical issues, and I had to sit back and I tried putting myself in his shoes, in the Oba's shoes, and I understood why he made that statement. Now, the truth is, how he said it did not, what he said or what he had in mind to say was completely different. Of course, there were the issues of grievances and animosity, particularly how, you know, the APC in Lagos have been able to welcome, you know, Igbos and, you know, throw their hands open, and the government open to them, to welcoming them. But he felt bad that these were the same people that were being used as puppets by the PDP, if I can say that, by the PDP to discredit the APC candidate. So he felt that despite everything we have done for you people are still being the Judas. You're betraying us. So that was his grievance. But how he said it was wrong.
He said it in anger. But
he said it in anger.
He's an old man.
He said it in anger, and that is what I expect
someone who is
Nigerians
supposed to have words of peace. And
exactly. But I really love what Baba Tinubu said yesterday. Now he said, when he was addressing yesterday, he said, to you, the Igbos, don't we pay your children's school fees like others? That is for children who also attend the public schools. We pay your school fees. Even when we conducted an examination and a spelling competition, an Igbo boy, Ebuka, from Anambra State, came first, and he became the governor for one day. Of course, we know Lagosians, we know they do that. And an Igbo boy won it. And he said those that won the competition 3 times in a row were Igbos. Who won it? And Ebuka was sent to Switzerland Computer School and then to Obafemi Awolowo University. And we did not say he was an Igbo boy and he would not enjoy. He became an executive in Owando and he is now in Canada. And then he went on, mentioned the name of Felix and many other
many other people who are benefited from the.
That this, at least people should be able to understand that this is a government that has thrown its hands open to welcoming, non-indigenous. So I think really the tension should come down.
All right, let's quickly take this. Forgive Akiolu and move on. That was what Buhari said when he was in Lagos yesterday. The president-elect, retired General Muhammadu Buhari, has urged the Indigo and other non-indigenes residing in Lagos State to overlook the anti-tribal comments of the Oba of Lagos. Akiolu really won. Buhari has pleaded with all Igbos in Lagos State to move on and forgive all that has been said against them for the sake of peace. This is said during a rally in Lagos to address the comments made by the Oba. Recall that Akiolu has been under fire since Monday when he reportedly threatened the Igbo in Lagos to either vote or die, if they don't elect or vote for Mr. Akinwumi Ambode. And that's, for me, the president-elect is come around. I heard he was in, it was this popular market along Ojo Road, Alaba Market.
He was there. He was also at
yes, he was there. He was at Orile. He went.
Because that's where you have more Igbo presence.
His mission was to just go and meet them and let them know.
And mind you,
that
Buhari
the new government
himself, the president-elect, he's neutral. When it comes to ethnicity, he's not biased.
He's never,
because understand also that he has worked with a lot of Southerners. Even those who work with him, his personal uglies, they're all Southerners. So when he's coming out yesterday, I think it was timely and it was perfect enough for me.
All right, let's not dwell too much on this particular story as we have some more information to pass across to you on the show today. But most importantly is to note that Saturday, 11th of April, is the governorship election across some states of the Federation. And the next story we're going to take is INEC insistence on the use of the card reader for Saturday's governorship election. The Independent National Electoral Commission on Monday announced that card readers will be used for Saturday's governorship and House of Assembly elections across the country. The Independent National Electoral Commission wishes to inform all Nigerians that the card reader will be used for the elections on Saturday. And Ms. Ogu added, the provision of the guideline for the conduct of the 2015 general election, which outlined what is to be done if a card reader fails and cannot be replaced by the commission within a specified time frame, that is, reschedule the election to the next day, will be enforced. Now, INEC is saying it is either card reader or nothing. So everywhere and anywhere where the card reader fails, come Saturday, during the elections, it will be postponed to the next day until that election is conducted by the card reader.
And that's perfect for me.
For me, I think INEC is just trying to defend and champion the cause of integrity and transparency that have been displayed during the presidential election.
And, in my opinion, I think INEC, they've also had enough time for them to go back to the drawing board and look at where they got it wrong. Particularly in those states where the card readers failed, I'm very sure that they've been able to tackle that issue. Take away those faulty card readers and replace it with card readers that are working. So of course, the lapses which we saw during the presidential elections have all been taken care of, in my opinion, and we hope on Saturday they will not disappoint Nigerians.
All right, come to think of it, what's your general perception about the acceptance of the card reader? We used it for the presidential election, and there were itches, there were loads of glitches here and there. But as of today,
being the first time, that was the same thing we experienced when GSM was introduced to Nigeria newly. Of course, there were hitches, but look at it today. It's a lot better. And for me, I think the credibility of the card reader also, if you rate it, the success and the failure, of course, now we can see that the success of the card reader is a whole lot more. The minor areas where the card reader failed, the credibility on the card reader was put in question was just because of the hitches. But of course, after these elections, we hope that INEC will not sleep on their job and wait till 2019. We hope that they will get back on and begin to look for other ways to improve the functionality of the card reader.
So, I mean, so as a matter of fact, even if there's an upturn,
it should stay.
I mean, even if there's an upturn in some states where, I mean, we have the polity in those states heated up at the moment. You agree with me that if they eventually conduct a very transparent, free, fair, credible elections, no party is just going to come up to raise any form of,
we hope not.
No, especially when the card reader is being used. Especially when the card reader is being used. Because for me, if you look at a couple of issues, that made the card reader fail. Now, one is some card readers that were not reading at all because they were not properly configured. We have some that, we do the proper identification or reading of the card reader, but you cannot do your biometrics on it. And then we have some, whose battery just ran out, and, it just became difficult for you to bring those card reader back up. For me, I think INEC, for them to be insisting on the use of the card reader for this election, would have improved on on the flexibility and the workability of the card reader. Sure. If they come out, to insist at this time. Now, before we go on a break, let's establish this, Ishoma. There are a few states as we speak, and things doesn't seem to be looking so well. I mean, you don't even have an idea of how election is going to go, in those areas.
Security-wise, tension?
Every-wise, and we'll be looking at virtually all the elements that may not, give room for a very good election in those states. River State is one. Lagos State, I believe relatively things are beginning to get better. Aside from the statement made by the Oba over the weekend, I think before now, the competition has been very healthy between the two most popular parties.
And that's thank God the incidences of violence which we saw before the presidential elections, like at least some very popular places like Oshodi and the rest of them. So far, after the presidential elections, I don't think there's been any incident of that. So, but I think for me, elections in Lagos, in my opinion, I don't think the elections in Lagos will be anything people should be worried about. Security-wise, I think things... Of course, I know that there's a lot of tension. There's a lot of tension. But understand also that after the presidential election, the victory, or what we saw, what played out, has rubbed off, or would, on the day of the elections, would eventually rub off. Yeah. So this would be like a walkover. And mind you, with the personality of the president-elect, a lot of persons are being careful. You dare not misbehave if you know you do not want to spend the rest of your life in prison. So these are some of the things that people are also putting at the back of their mind that, this man is a no-nonsense man. He will misbehave now, and of course he will know. We'll be in trouble after May 29. So these are some of the things that are making these, violent elements try to curtail their actions. If not for the statement made by the Oba, of course, things have been a whole lot better. So, but for River State, of course, we know what the issues that have been, ongoing in River State. But the truth is, I can also say with the personality of the president-elect, I think some of these tensions will be going down. And mind you also, when it comes to, of course, a whole lot of the tensions will be going down. So I expect that the elections in River State will be a lot more peaceful and more credible. Anyway,
we are just, using this opportunity once again to plead peace and to just encourage that every voters going out there on Saturday are very conscious of the activities around them. Report any anomalies, report any unlawful gathering that could incite violence in your area. and just try as much as possible to ensure that we have a free, fair, credible, transparent elections come Saturday. We will be throwing more light on the goings on in some states of the Federation as it has to do with the elections on Saturday. We'll be talking about Abia State, Rivers State, even though elections will not be taking place in Ekiti State, but we'll give you an update of the goings on there. And then we'll be talking about Lagos State. Lagos State, like we have always said, and I put it this way, it has a very, great similitude to the presidential election. And so we'll be breaking down a couple of elements that we feel should be in place for us to be able to have a very good poll on Saturday. But as a matter of fact, when you start to call in when the phone lines are open, all we want to hear from you is to let us know exactly what you feel about security and what you feel about the voters as they go out on Saturday to vote, their candidate of their choice as far as
and particularly in the states where our callers will be coming
where our callers will be coming from. Just let us know. If you're calling us from Kogi State, let us know what the environment is. If you're calling us from Abuja, what's the FTC like? If you're calling us from Kano, let us know exactly what the situation, the political the political atmosphere is in your particular state. We'll go on a short break now, and then when we come back, we'll be taking you through the interesting part of the story. All right, welcome back. This is Crossfire. My name is Dapo Banjo, and I have with me driving this show, Barrister Ishoma Againe. You're welcome back. Now, we promised that we'll be taking you through. Nigeria is a very big nation. We sit about 36 states, and the 37th one is the Federal Capital Territory in Abuja. And so elections will be taking place across the nation. And so we'll quickly take you, give you a rundown of all the states where elections will be taking place. Due to some issues experienced in some elections back in the day, we have a couple of states that are not going to be electing new governors into power as we approach Saturday, the 11th of April. Now, the list of these states goes thus. Kogi State will not be having a new governor. Edo State will not be having a new governor. Osun State, Ekiti State, Bayelsa State, Anambra State, Ondo State, and the Federal Capital Territory. All the states will not be having elections on Saturday. Now, a very quick one. There's been a lot of problems in Ekiti State, and I really don't know. I think it's really bordering the government of the day, to really, I really don't know why Ayofayose has become so much of a troubleshooter. I know he loves a lot of controversies, as an individual. And
he's already told us he told the APC lawmakers they can't impeach him. You want to impeach him, you have to impeach God first. Get to God
that
first.
Is blasphemy. No, but that is blasphemy. You agree with me?
Of course, that's blasphemy. But of course, these are some of the issues. But my issue is governance should be for the people. If the representatives of the people have come out to say you're no longer worthy of being the governor of a state.
But is that what the Ekiti people are saying? Now, it's one thing, the impeachment. If he feels that the Ekiti people actually elected him into power.
The lawmakers reflect the will of the people. So whether or not the market woman came out to meet Ayofayose and say leave, but as long as the lawmakers have come out and have served the governor an impeachment notice, it is deemed that is the representation and the will of the people they represent.
No, but for me, I think
that is the workability of the law.
Anyway, let's see how this whole thing plays out. But it's not fair because as at yesterday, we have people that have been affected. We have people dying.
Thugs have shut down the capital, and you're seeing commissioners and other persons with charms and weapons.
And a few people are fair dead, and that is not very fair. Eating up the state, in Ekiti and putting a lot of tension because we have information that, I mean, the Inspector General of Police has deployed loads of police officers to man Ekiti State, you know, especially where the State House of Assembly is situated, just to ensure that, I mean, the mayhem, the impending mayhem that could break if care is not taken in Ekiti State. All right, we have a map, you know, that I'll be showing on the screen to show us exactly what to expect during the elections on Saturday. And we'll be seeing that on the screen any moment from now. Now, if you look at the map on the screen, you will observe that, I mean, all the areas where you have the brown color are the states where elections will be taking place on Saturday. Elections will be taking place. All the places, you know, painted white, elections will not be taking place in those states. And we already read, you know, I mean, gave you the information about those states. All the states in white are Kogi, Edo, Osun, Ekiti, Bayelsa, Anambra, Ondo State, and the Federal Capital Territory. Elections will not be taking place in those 8 states. And all the other ones, elections, people will be going en masse out on Saturday, the 11th of April, to elect new governors. It could be, you know, a continuity or an outright change.